So, uh, I've done this on stream before. We've worked on this map and done some world building. This is my setting for a Pokemon Tabletop United campaign. I'm still learning the rules and everything. um, but I got excited today because I started looking into Pokemon Tabletop United. One of my friends was on his Mormon mission. He's home now and he's married. So I brought it up in our Discord, the Discord server I'm in with my boys, and my friend was like, "Oh, what's this? I want to play." And his wife wants to play too, so now I have like 5 players when we were going to do 3. Where we're during your stream, I was reading the Pokemon Tabletop United core rulebook and messaging some friends on Discord about it. It consumed like my afternoon. So my plans is to do a bit of a bit of world building here. I have these settlements set up already. There's another one out here too. But I wanted to do some more of like biomes and stuff like that. So I have a World Anvil account. I'm using World Anvil. I'm not paying for it. I'm using the free service. So I only have I can only make 42 articles. But so my friend and his wife have already decided what classes they want to be. So, well, hi Teto, thank you for being here. I can just zoom out. There we go. So it's the Pectian region. Pecti, or Pect, is like sin in Latin. Something like that. And I picked that name because Pectian sounds cool. And my setting is where's the here's the dashboard. It's based on the 1800s, that section of time in the Americas, or America specifically, like Wild West, Manifest Destiny stuff. That kind of setting, cowboys, that stuff. So it's not like modern Pokemon with like all the fancy Pokeballs. They have the wind-up Pokeball from the Celebi movie that young Professor Oak uses, and apricorn balls as well. So my friend, he wanted to be a cowboy, or use a gun. He wanted to shoot people with guns in a Pokemon setting, which is fine. That's cool. And Pokemon Tabletop United has a few other expansion modules themed, like their own settings they made. And there's one called Game of Throws, which is fantasy themed. And it has like martial classes, like fighting a fighter guy, kind of a ninja skirmisher guy. I've never heard of it, Torn. I've never heard of Amber Vale. Excuse me. And more supernatural stuff. So there's elementalist classes, which are classes. They're like kind of arcane classes based on Pokemon types. And so my friend wants to be a marksman, which do things with ranged weapons. Doesn't have to be a gun. It could be a crossbow or a bow. Um, and then there's a elementalist class for every type. And so my friend's wife wanted to be a dragon type trainer, which is cool. But dragon types are typically pretty strong. Sheesh, Thorn. What's with all this sass, huh? And in the Game of Thrones expansion, little module, the dragon type elementalist is called the Herald of Pride, and it's really cool. It's really cool. As you get stronger, as your character gets stronger and you level up more, you just feel sassy today. Understandable. You can, so you fight with a melee weapon primarily, in addition to fighting with your Pokemon and stuff. But it's not as much of a trainer focused class, more as a combat focused class, which is fine. But it does lots of melee stuff, and at certain features, you can give you access to when you can use moves like Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail, Dragon Rush, Outrage, when you use your melee weapon, which is really cool. So you like become an avatar of the dragon type, which is really cool. So, and my friend's wife wants to do that. So, I need to figure out how to fit elementalists into this setting. I need to do that. Hi, Mooney. You want a good girl? Okay. Thank you for being here, Mooney. Thank you. I'm doing good. I am doing well. I'm just going to be yapping and doing a bit of world building today. I haven't done this in a long time. Long enough that the map program I'm using right now is Wonderdraft. Wonderdraft is not free. I believe it's like $30, or at least it was $30 when I bought it. And it's been long enough that it has an update available. I can do that later. But today I wanted to block out the biomes on the continent. It's really nice, though. It is such a nice map making program. Like, there's a few on Steam too, but I like Wonderdraft a lot. It's really good. It's really good. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to block out the biomes around here. Like the Arctic stuff, the tundra, the Badlands, all the plains, all that stuff. I kind of want to do that today. Excuse me. While I try and figure out how to implement elementalists into this setting. Hi, Julian. But how are you, Mooney? How are you? I hope you're doing alright, dear. Okay, Mooney, here's your good girl. Ooh. Sorry, I'm a bit rusty. It's been like a week, or longer than over a week since I've done ASMR. So, if I seem a bit rusty, I apologize. girl, Mooney, good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A very, very good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Such a good girl you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Mwah. Mwah. Very good girl. Yes, you are. Look at you being such a good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good girl, Mooney. Good girl. Mwah. There you go, Mooney. Thank you for the redeem. I hope that was okay for you. I'm sorry if that was a bit rough. I am very rusty. I have not done ASMR in over a week now. So, uh, yeah. Okay. So, right. Oh, come on. World Anvil really wants me to use their 50% off Spooktober sale thing. No. Okay. So let me read you. You find a D&D video too right now? Nice. Make attention if you want. No, okay. Julian, it's a tabletop game, but it's not specifically D&D. It's Pokemon Tabletop United. It's a fan-made Pokemon tabletop game. No, it's okay, Julian. It's okay. It's okay. I totally understand. That's just fine. And the Pokemon Tabletop United is usually for like standard Pokemon adventure based on like the game settings, right? You're like a new trainer, get your starter Pokemon from the professor and go on an adventure to become the champion. My setting is based on like the Wild West era of America. That kind of vibe, you know, telegraphs, early light bulbs, all that kind of stuff. Still using horse-drawn carriages, except in this case it'd be Mudstails and not Rapidashes, because Rapidash emit fire from their manes and tails, and that would not be good for, you know, the bridle and the harness for the carriage. Unless you use like steel. Pokemon Redemption, yeah, pretty much that. But Pokemon Tabletop United also has a module that fleshes out a fantasy themed setting where you can play as a trainer blessed by a legendary Pokemon, like a Warlock, but your patron is Rayquaza or Arceus or Lugia or whatever. And then there's martial classes like a fighter, defender guy, marksman, and thief. All that stuff. Hi DJ, how are you? I'm doing good. Just doing a bit of world building tonight. And it adds elementalist classes, which are basically spellcasters or classes just drawn before you go to sleep. Nice. What's she drawing? Mwah. 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 There we go. I think that's probably a bit better there. I started looking into Pokemon Tabletop United and starting up my ideas for this setting like 2 years ago. And I got really into it for like a month, and then I had some kidney stone issues, and I completely forgot about it after that. Um, but I even like uh, went through character creation with my friends. We made some characters, picked their starter Pokemon. Friends OC, nice, nice, nice. Well, that's nice of you, DJ. I didn't know you drew. That's cool. That's cool. Um, and like 2 days ago or earlier last week, I brought it up in the Discord server I have with the boys, my IRL friends. Um, and my friend that was on his mission while I got into this game 2 years ago was like, "Oh hey, there's a Pokemon. You're gonna play Pokemon D&D? I want to play." So, and my wife's been wanting to play D&D, something D&D for a while. I was like, oh, okay, sure, you guys could play. That's fine. Um, and today talked about it a lot more in depth. I know what starter Pokemon my friend wants. I don't know what his wife wants yet. She wants to be a dragon type trainer. She wants to be a dragon trainer. Which will be interesting because dragon types are pretty strong. And I don't know how. I guess I'd have to make their weaknesses more common. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to balance it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And my friend wants to play as a cowboy because he wants to shoot people. He said, "Can I have a gun instead of a Pokemon?" It's like, well, I recommend you still take a starter, but yeah, you can have a gun. And there's a marksman class in the fantasy module here for Pokemon Tabletop United that works with ranged weapons. Doesn't have to be gun specifically, but any ranged weapon. And the elementalists are classes based on the types. So you're a human, but you can harness abilities based on specific types, and there's one for each. I think there should be one for fairy. Yeah. Okay. And the dragon elementalist is called the Herald of Pride, and they fight with melee weapons, martial weapons, and at higher ranks they can use dragon type moves like dragon claw, tail, outrage, dragon breath, or dragon rush. Sorry, no dragon breath. I don't think that's a move. Or if it is, it's the one that does this set amount of whatever. So, and she wants to play as a Herald of Pride, which is really cool. I think that's neat because it's a cool class. But now I have to figure out how to make elementalists work in this setting that I intended to be sort of grounded, gritty and realistic. But that's fine. I don't. It's cool. So now I need to figure out how elementalists fit into this setting. So, yeah. Yeah, let me see here. Does it talk about the elementalists? Let's see. Supernatural ties to Pokemon type. These settings perfectly for high fantasy, high magical shenanigans game. The more grand or gritty game, they might be out of place, or practitioners of them could be hunted and persecuted. As for a psychic and fighting do not have classes listed here, it's because we consider Aura Guardian and the psychic classes in the core book to be their elementalists. Gotcha. Yeah. I'll probably just make it that elementalists are okay. No, I use World Anvil for keeping track of all this stuff too. Um, while I'm at it, let me read you the hook I wrote for this setting for my friends, um, just so you guys kind of know what I'm talking about here. And then I'll go over the settlements and stuff I've already fleshed out, and then I guess we'll go from there, and then we'll figure out how elementalists fit in here. Okay, the it's the Pectine region. Pecti or Pect is like sin in Latin. It's because the Wild West was pretty sinful to ship out all these uh, outlaw movies and stuff, right? And like Red Dead 2, that kind of thing. Oh, thank you, Julian. Thank you. I just saw that DM. Thank you, Julian. Oh, I can't check what servers we're both in because of streamer mode. Oh well, thank you, Julian. I'll watch that short when I'm done here. I would watch it right now, but I can't hear my desktop because my headset's plugged into my microphone, so I can hear what you guys hear. Okay, here we go. The Pectine region is inspired by America in the early 1820s, when the further west you went, the more lawless things became. The world Pectine is set in is much like our own, except for one major difference. Pokemon. They've been around as long as humans can remember, but they are not of this world. Pokemon appear in the fossil record rather abruptly compared to the planet's other life, which is mostly extinct, except for species that are able to exploit niches that Pokemon can't or don't bother to. It is unknown how exactly they came to be, but one thing is certain: they are dangerous. Travel alone without a Pokemon with you is not advised, as there are wild Pokemon that won't hesitate to make you lunch. But nowadays, with the invention of the wind-up Pokeball, adventuring the wilderness has never been more accessible. And with rumors of veins of gold on the west coast and the discovery of new species of Pokemon via the fur trade, excitement for adventure is greater than ever. But it is still a dangerous world out there, and some are set to learn this the hard way. No, Julie, I appreciate you. It's very sweet of you. Thank you. I was just like, what? I haven't seen your PFP before, so like, what? Who's this? Who's this? Oh, it's Julian. You got it. You got it, dude. But that's the hook for the campaign setting. So the let me zoom in here. Let's go to 200. Yeah, 200 is close enough. Should be. So let me pull it up here. The main settlement here is Moss Bay. So Pectian. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. I'm a bit. I'm glad people like it. So the Pectine region is this continent right here. It is essentially North America, pretty much, with a bit of South America down here. Right, this is like Florida, an analog to Florida down here. And the continent is split on this coast by the Bertic Spine, which is this mountain range that is just inexplicably very large and tall, and it is possible to climb over them, but they are like covered in snow 24/7 all year, especially in winter. It's easiest to travel them in the summer when the snow is snow packed. It's not, the snow isn't as deep, right? And so the settlement efforts the colonization efforts by the people that live this to the west or to the east in the old world is mostly focused on this, because getting up around here is still not very easy either, because this is all Arctic and there's ice and stuff and all that. And up here it's still very cold. I think I'm gonna change this orange to white probably. So it's just easy to settle here, and so there's two ways to get to the interior of the continent, which is to go over the Bertic spine, or you can go through with the Durant mines. Bertic is the polar bear Pokemon, and Durant is that big metal ant from the black and white games. The Durant mines are the remnants of this massive Durant colony that has been mapped for the most part. There's one. They found one major tunnel and kind of widened it to make travel between the entrance and exit easier. And there's extensive mining operations in the Durant mines. There's lots of metals and ores and that kind of thing. And it's the safer route than going over the mountains. It just takes a long time too. Cowboy time. Sorry, before I get to yours. Hope this will. Yep, I know. I might add stuff later down here too. But for now, this is the biggest the map is. Right now, I kind of want to just flesh this out. I don't have really anything over here done yet. I might add stuff down here too, Julian. But the important. So I went into this like there are no native peoples in Pectine. It's just Pokemon. There might be like I'm probably gonna make like remnants of civilizations that lived here, kind of like the ruins of Alph and Gold and Silver with the unknowns everywhere, that kind of stuff. I'm probably gonna add that. But it's like a pristine, untouched continent, untouched by humans until like in the last 50 years. Maybe not 50 years, maybe a little longer than that. Maybe. But sorry, I'm just rambling. But it's been a while since I've done a stream like this, so I'm just talking about everything here. Excuse me, sorry. So we'll talk about Moss Bay first. Yeah, the Durant mines are the safer alternative because Moss Bay is currently the largest settlement in the Pectine region. They have a rival in size, though, Demerigo, which I don't remember where I got that name from. I think it's like Spanish or French for something. It's like means like swamp or something in Latin, probably. I do that a lot with my D&D stuff. If I need a fancy sounding name, I just translate it to Latin in Google Translate. Moss Bay is a hub of invention and innovation, with the fairly recent invention of the wind-up Pokeball and powered light, along with telegraphs. Moss Bay has a native population of around 10,000, but there are much more people in the city, from sailors taking shore leave, immigrants seeking to make a name for themselves or a living, and wealthy aristocrats seeking new and exotic Pokemon and taking vacations to the city. Maybe even hiring trainers as guards on trips to the interior of the region. Pokemon in the area: Pidove, Pidgey, Rattata, Alolan Rattata, Mankey, and Apom clans that bicker over food stolen from passerbys, and many more can be found and traded on the pier. Binacle can be found clinging to the pier and hulls of ships. Wimpod can also be found. Moss Bay is currently ruled by Lydia Schuler and her cabinet of advisors. She is getting old, though, and the process of selecting her successor is currently underway. Moss Bay is primarily an exporter of exotic goods such as native plants, Pokemon furs, and Pokemon themselves. They also export ores, fossils, and stones excavated in the local mines. There is a local trainers guild that was founded recently in Moss Bay, along with the Wind-Up Pokeball. So that's Moss Bay. This city right here. That's why there's ships here and all that stuff. So most of it's a hub city, right? There's always ships coming in and out of port, except in like the cold season. Even in the cold season too, but less so in the cold season. And okay, I'll just read all these articles I have written here. I've already talked about it, so I'll read the Durant Mines one. The Durant Mines was an extensive cave/tunnel system that used to house a very large Durant colony, but now serves as one of Moss Bay's sources of wealth. The tunnels have been mapped for the most part, but one tunnel has been expanded and a minecart system runs through it. It is the safest way through the mines, but that won't stop the brave and the foolish from exploring. Pokemon in area: Sableye, Diglett, Sandshrew, Geodude, Rock'n'Rolla, Paris. Very rarely there are Carbink, many kinds of bat Pokemon, and more that have yet to be discovered. So yeah, there's like a minecart system to ferry carts of coal and ore and stuff from one end of the tunnel to the other, right? And there's all these little offshoots. There hasn't been a Durant sighting since the Durant mines were mapped. So the Durants, something happened to the Durants and they just cleared out. Placed that fossil. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're getting to that. Then we have the Beartic Spine. The Beartic Spine is a mountain range that splits the east coast from the rest of the Pectin region. They're covered in at least a foot of snow all year and very difficult to traverse, but it is possible. However, many dangerous ice-type Pokemon call the range home and are very territorial, such as Beartic, the range's namesake. It is possible to bypass this spine by traveling through the Durant mines, but the mines come with their own dangers. Pokemon in area: Cubchoo, Beartic, Snorunt and its evolutions, Sneasel, Hoot, Noctowl, Stantler, Delibird, Snover, Abomasnow, Scatterbug and its evos, Teddiursa and Ursaring, Minccino, and more. And to the south we have the Gulf of Gong. It gets its name from dugong. The Gulf of Gong is a large, shallow body of water that dugong migrate to yearly to bear their young. They raise them in the Gulf until the seal are large enough to migrate north alone or with their parents/family group. Some dugong and seal stay in the Gulf their whole lives, as it does offer safety from larger predatory aquatic Pokemon such as Gyarados or Sharpedo. These predators can still enter the Gulf if they wanted, but the number of adult dugong often make them avoid the Gulf until it is time for migration. Pokemon in area: Seal, Dugong, Tentacruel/Cruel, Horsey, Frillish, Shellos, Phoebus, and Starmie, Slowpoke, Marani, and Corsola. So the Gulf of Gong is also a kind of a tourist trap, if that makes sense. It draws in tourists every fall. Or wait, when do they? Yeah. So they migrate south in the winter and migrate north in the spring. So that lots of tourists come and visit just to see the dugong and seal pods migrate north, up north to up here. to the Arctic regions, the tundra, the icy places. Um, Ranch Moo, yeah, they they have farms and things like that too. Um, one of my one of like the first things that made me want to do this to play to find a Pokemon tabletop game and base it on the Wild West and all this stuff. I have a book called Pokenatomy, which I got at a convention in 2022. It's a it's not an official Pokemon encyclopedia or anything. It is the author goes in the book intending to try to make the Pokemon as realistic as possible and explain their weird and try to explain their weird supernatural abilities. Like Pikachu's electric sacs are these organs that use sodium and all this stuff to generate electric shocks and things like that. I don't know if it's online. I got like this special edition. It's a hardcover book. It's a really nice book. It's a green hardcover book with gold inlays because it was the convention edition or something. I even got it. He signed it too. I, I don't remember what his name was. But I asked it, does it have all of the Pokemon? It's like, no. You probably got that question a lot. It's the original 151 plus Togepi. I think Togepi is the only non-Generation 1 Pokemon in the book. But Togepi might as well be Gen 1 if he's in the anime a whole lot. And he explains in the book that Blastoise have been domesticated and selectively bred as such that their water sacs in their back that pressurize the water are so specialized now that if they try to fire water out of their water sac organs without an implanted cannon on their shoulder, it would rupture and then they would drown from internal hemorrhage and that stuff. So like, oh, that's cool. I like that. I thought that was neat. So when a Wartortle evolves, it can't use the fresh Blastoise can't use water cannon or anything like that, hydro pump, until it goes to see a doctor and gets the cannons implanted in its shell, so the cannons can focus the water. So I had this image in my head of like a Blastoise on like every block corner in a city, kind of like a fire hydrant. They just kind of sit there and they like have shifts or whatever, and if there's a fire they waddle over there and put out the fire. That's what made me want to do that. That's like what gave me the light bulb above my head, like, oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Oh, did I read Demergo? And further south of the Gulf of Gong is do I not have Demergo? Where? Huh? Where is it? I thought I wrote it. I guess I didn't. But it's Demergo. But yeah, the book's called Pokenatomy, an unofficial guide. I don't know if it's where it's available or anything like that. Excuse me. Sorry. Sorry about that. That one came out of nowhere. I guess I didn't do that. do an article for Demergo. But Demergo is like a rival settlement. They're not. They do trade with Moss Bay, but they're it's settled by a different country, so they're like rivals. Except Demergo is like in the middle of a swamp, so its development is slower, but it is second only to Moss Bay in size and that kind of thing. And then on the other side of the Durant Mines is Marrowbone. Marrowbone. It's named after the sizable local population of Cubone and Marowak. It's also like Badlands / desert. Where is it? There it is. Marrowbone is a small forward operating base / settlement meant as a jumping off point for wagon trains and is quickly becoming a hub for those seeking adventure and the unknown. Marrowbone is named after the abundance of large fossils and Cubone / Marowak in the surrounding area. The people that are permanent residents of Marrowbone are hardy folk that mostly work the dirt mines and excavate fossils in their surrounding area. There is also a lab for fossil study in town. Marrowbone is flanked by strange rock formations to the west. It is theorized they contain large geodes or remnants of an ancient river system. Pokemon in the area: Cubone / Marowak, Sandshrew, Dreepy near ancient river / rock formation, Fanpy, Spearow, Fearow, Skorupi, Pinsir, Cacnea, and rarely Fennekin, Helioptile, Drapion, and Silicobra. Alright, and then I have an article. Oh, wait. We have one more settlement that that I came up with here. Shine West, which is all the way out here in the west. Because there were expeditions sent pretty early in Moss Bay's colonization efforts, and it was just recently started to be more than just a few wooden huts and that kind of thing. And people from Shine West are just now coming back with all these fancy and exotic pelts and Pokemon and all this stuff, and then they bring word of gold in the waters over there. And Shine West is the westernmost settlement in the Pectin region. Expeditions were sent west shortly after Maradun was settled, with rumors of gold reaching Moss Bay as wagon trains complete their journey east. There's been an explosion in excitement and also investment by the wealthy into expeditions west to Shine West. What a sentence that is. In order to obtain this rumored gold. Shine West is relatively small compared to Moss Bay, as it can take months for wagon trains to reach the coast, not to mention the dangers of such trips. Pelts and Pokemon from the area fetch a high price in Moss Bay, as to get them from one coast to the other is a costly venture, and most species are seen nowhere else. Okay, and the Pokemon in the area, we have Krabby, Griballer, Cutiefly, Wingull, Whalmer, West Sea Shellos, Wimpod, and Galarian Slowpoke. Okay, so now I kind of want to vaguely block out these biomes here. So texture, Warren is fine. One setting size, paint. There we go. Maybe not that big. Yeah, okay. That's the same color. Kind of want to just do that there. Okay. Something like that. I think that's fair. Okay. How do we do? Oh, symbols. We want mountains, I think. Playful jagged peaks. What mountain did I use for those? I think I used this one. Pinned mountains. Do not need them to be that large. Don't need them to be that large. Let's go placement rate to 1.5. So, do we make like the mountains go across here? Hey, that's still too big. That's too big still. There we go. And I think that placement's too quick, too fast. Cool. We can erase that. See, isn't that cool? I really like this. I really like Wonder Draft. I don't remember where I heard about it. Probably a YouTube video. Probably a YouTube video. There we go. I don't know if that's too much. There we go. Okay, that's good enough for now. Is there other symbols here? There's clouds. Trees. I think maybe this tree. Except that tree is very large. That tree's very big. That's a big tree. Those are big trees. How did I get those trees that small? Oh, there we go. These smaller trees. Put some trees. Down there too. Sure. Just kind of. I can erase them later if I don't like them. I can erase them later if I don't like them. Ooh, okay. We're chilling. Hi, Crid. How are you, dear? Hope you're doing okay. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good. Hope you had a good weekend. And land paint. I think I want this darker one. Let's That's too small. You're doing great. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear it. There we go. We kind of go like this, maybe. Okay. What are we working on? Hi, Floof. I'm doing some attempting to do some world building for a Pokemon Tabletop United campaign I am working on. I haven't actually played the game at all. I'm still reading the rules, figuring that out. But the best way to learn the rules is to put them into practice. So, um, we'll get to that at some point. I started looking into this game like 2 years ago. But back then, one of my friends was still on his Mormon mission and didn't get home till like last year. I think it was last year or earlier this year. I can't remember. I can't remember. But my friend's married now. And I brought up Pokemon Tabletop United in the Discord server I have with my boys. And my friend was like, "Oh, what's this? Pokemon D&D? I want to play." And my wife's been looking, kind of had an itch for D&D stuff for a while. It's like, "Oh, sure, you guys could play, of course. I'd be happy to have you." And we kind of talked about it a lot today. This consumed my afternoon. If you want to play Pokemon Tabletop United, they have a website. You can find it just by googling Pokemon Tabletop United, or there's like how-to videos on YouTube that have the Google Doc in the description. It is complicated. There's lots of math involved. It is essentially playing the Pokemon games, but on tabletop with pen and paper or whatever, right? So there's lots of math because you have to calculate critical hit ratios and all that stuff yourself. Yeah. Been trying to set up a game with your bro, so nice. If you play Pokemon Tabletop United, let me know how it goes. But my setting is based on the early 1800s, like the Wild West era, right? The further west you went, the more lawless it became, that kind of thing. Before, it's basically Red Dead Redemption 2. But you have Pokemon there too. And I wanted my setting to be fairly grounded, right? But Pokemon Tabletop United has a fantasy module, or a module they made that fleshes out a fantasy setting with fantasy-ish classes. So there's like a traditional fighter classes and stuff, and the arcane classes are elementalists. They're trainers with connection to an an elemental connection, and you harness the powers of a specific type, and there's a class for every type. And my friend's wife wanted a dragon type as her starter. I was like, okay, well, I don't know about, because giving them a pseudo legendary as a starter is kind of but there's the dragon elementalist is called the Herald of Pride, or Pride's Herald of Pride. And you harness the power of dragon types, and you are able to, at higher levels, you're able to use the moves Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail, Dragon Rush, and Outrage, which is just really cool. but my setting initially was fairly grounded. Um, so now I'm trying to figure out how to fit elementalists into the setting. Um, I'm trying to figure that out right now. And the overall, like, plot, right? I'm trying to do that right now and flesh out these biomes here. I'm trying to do that. And the program I'm using right now is Wonder Draft. I believe it's like $30. I paid $30 for it. She wanted a Dino, actually. She wanted a Dino, the Dark Dragon type, the guy that evolves into the two-headed one, and Zoilus and Hydreigon. I don't think there's a... There is an opacity tool. There is an opacity setting. But she wanted to be... Whoops, that's shift. She wanted to be a dragon type trainer, or a dragon trainer. And the base rules, the core rule book has a feature for trainer for specializing in a Pokemon type. But it's not as cool as the Elementalist by far. You to get the most out of it, you have to have two of that particular type, two Pokemon in your party of that particular type, and getting your hands on a Dragon type can be pretty hard. So I was like, I don't know if she'll like that one. And then I looked at the Elementalists, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So now I have to figure out how to fit that into this setting. If you have any ideas, let me know. How to fit basically magic users into a Wild West setting. But again, they harness Pokemon, the power of Pokemon types. So it's not like magic. And then my friend, he said, can I have a gun instead of a Pokemon? I was like, well, he's like, he wanted to be a cowboy, or wants to be a cowboy. And I was like, well, I recommend you still take a starter Pokemon, but you can still have a gun. And then I found the Marksman class in the fantasy module, which is called the Game of Throws. Throw as in the Pokemon. Cryptid, no, cowboy. Yeah, Pokemon Bounty Hunter. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what the Marksman does. The Marksman could work as a cowboy too. When you take the class feature, you automatically get the sniper ability, which if you crit with a ranged weapon, you just double the damage. And so, as you know, in addition to the critical damage, you just double it. And then you get other features that give you more plus to your attack stat, and let you dual wield or take two shots every on an action. There's one called Overwatch where you have to stand still, but if someone steps in range of your weapon, you shoot them. Comes to fantasy, this is the thing. This wasn't fantasy. It was cowboys and Pokemons. Um, but my friend's wife is going to be a elementalist, so I kind of have to figure out to fit them into my cowboy setting. um, yeah, I totally get no guns in a fantasy setting. I totally get that, for sure, for sure. Um, but yeah, so marksman totally works for a cowboy, and he's going to pick. As far as I know right now, he's going to pick Mudkip as his starter. He's going to pick Mudkip. And I believe his wife is still thinking about which starter she wants. But they're going through some stuff right now, so we probably won't be like making their characters for probably another week or two. I'd have to, if I had to guess. Yeah. Mudkip is a good choice. My other friends, the other boys, he would be. My friend would be the. Mudkip would be the only starter in the party. Um, Everyone else picked. One of my friends picked Minchino, and his character is like a lumberjack kind of deal. And one of my friends picked Amara and is specking into Pokemon fossil stuff. And another one of my friends is specking into Pokeball crafting and has a Hoot Hoot. I don't know if my brother's still playing. He was specking into type specialist with dark types, and his starter was Zorua. In Pokemon Tabletop United, the rule book gives you a table of 3 Pokemon of every type for you, that is generally what you want to pick. But I just let my friends, pick whatever Pokemon you want, as long as it's a first stage Pokemon and has the underdog trait, you can pick it. So that's how I ended up with Minchino, Amara, and Hoot Hoot. And then going to have a Dragon type and a Mudkip. So, not a super balanced team, because Hoot Hoot is, I believe Hoot Hoot is normal flying, right? Noctowl is normal flying, even though Noctowl gets psychic moves, or some psychic moves. I don't think Noctowl learns that many unorthodox choices, right? Well, my friend who's a lumberjack, his Minchino has his ability lets him hit harder with his slap moves. If a move hits more than once per turn, it does more damage or something. It's got Tactician or something. You just need Seismitoad. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about Seismitoad. I can probably put some around these ponds or lakes here. Maybe they live down here. Maybe not Seismitoad. But Poipole. And whatever his evolution is called. Wart Boomfrog? Yeah. Yeah. But so I've just been trying to flesh out these biomes and stuff. Will I try and figure out how to fit in the elementalist? Maybe people are born with these traits that let them harness the elemental nature of Pokemon, right? I feel like that makes sense. It's like, I don't know, having Mudbray, yeah. Like carts, carriages and buggies are pulled by Mudbray and maybe Galarian Rapidash, but mostly Mudbray, because Rapidash emit fire from their mane and tail, so you wouldn't be able to hook them up to a carriage with leather. It'd have to be like metal and chains. um, I also had the idea of them selectively breeding a Rhyhorn to be rideable and to like pull to do farm work. Uh, they selectively bred them to be smoother, for, to have less plating, and to race them like they do in X and Y. Because in X and Y, your mom is a famous Rhyhorn racer. So I thought that'd be fun. I thought that would be fun. Because Mudsteel has a lot higher power moves. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. I can totally see that. There's Zebstrika too, but you know, zebras are famous for not being able to, you know, they're hard to domesticate. You can like tame or raise a zebra, but they haven't been domesticated because they're jerks. They'll bite you. Um, you know, that's so. Uh, Probably not Zebstrika, and they also like their main emits electricity. So, uh, yeah, I think Mudbray would be your go to. Mudbray and Mudsdale, for sure, as work animals. Okay. Um, Land, paint down here. Like coastal greens here. Ooh. Oh, that was Terrybot. Okay. And this. Oh, we go. And this orange. I think I'll block that out to here, maybe. Maybe this region here is like desert, Badlands and desert kind of place. I don't know about that south, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Then we can put this. Let's increase the brush size here. 26. Hi, Draki. Thank you for being here. You're cool. Can also lower the opacity here near the edge. Let's see if I bring it down here. That's kind of noticeable. I want to do that around edges though. Like here. Okay, bring the opacity back up. There we go. Okay. Kinda works, I guess. Kinda. Yeah, okay. That works better than just the sheer. Than without. Now, I'm not an expert, so I don't know if this Badlands immediately after a mountain. I know, like, Pangea was an interior desert because, right, the mountains or something were so tall that clouds couldn't go over them, and it would rain on one side of the mountain, and the other side of the mountain was just dry as a bone. I don't remember where I heard that, but I'm pretty sure that's how stuff works, right? So maybe it makes sense to somebody, but it doesn't have to. Doesn't have to. So this is like tundra, or just forest. And out here, I kind of want plains. That is just the default color. Okay. Maybe we want a bit of this gray in the mountains here. A Japanese style western. You know, that actually kind of sounds pretty cool. There's gotta be an anime like that somewhere, right? Maybe. Put some gray in there. There we go. I think that looks a bit better. Maybe put some white, right? Whatever. Cowboy Bebop? Yeah, that's the first one that came to mind, but that's like a Japanese space cowboy. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Oh, if it's plains right here, or maybe we want. Let's bring up the brush size. Maybe this color, this more amber color. Because I was out at the wetland sanctuary, and it's kind of this amber color is pretty much what all the vegetation looked like. Oh, I still have the opacity up. Okay, that's fine. We grab the white. Do this. Oh yeah, that looks. Oh, maybe not that much. There we go. That looks better. That looks better. Okay. Outlaw part. Outlaw star? I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Then I think down here we want it to be pretty green. I think this would be maybe. I kind of like that. Symbols. Grab some mountains. Smaller mountains. Which draws inspiration from people. You just found it? Ah, okay. take some trees or something. I don't know about that one. These green trees. There we go. Excuse me. If this were Ark, this is where you would find T-Rexes and stuff. Or like that the island in Pal World. I can't remember what it's called though. Sorry about the burp. Sorry. Okay. We go back to land. Paint. Back to this. Let's bring the opacity down. There we go. There we go. All right. Sure. Okay. What do we want over here? This is still coast. So let's bring the brush size down. Sure. Okay. Oh, I still have opacity. Darn it. Okay, there we go. Oh well, it's fine. You bring that brush size up. There we go. We have a bit of a, let's see, bring opacity down, like maybe not that big, not that big, but you'd want to kind of a break between the two. Right? That makes sense. Okay. There we go. That looks a bit... That looks a bit better to me. There we go. Kind of blends it in there. Right. Makes sense for there to be more green around a lake, right? The white on here. I got opacity down, make it bigger. Not that big. Grab this. Brush size down. Okay. I think that looks a bit better. the breaks are more blended in there, huh? Maybe. Okay. I think that looks not terrible. That looks not terrible, right? Maybe I don't know. We can take this, double this down here. We've discovered a new strat. Right there, maybe. How's that look? Does it look okay? Let's zoom out. Maybe. I think that looks fine. That looks okay to me. Maybe a little. It looks better than before. It looks better than before. I think, actually, we'll take some of this, maybe 200. Just kind of do this here. This is kind of craggy up here. Maybe. Excuse me, sorry. Like a rocky shore. Maybe? Like that border? Okay. I think it makes the coast look a little more natural, maybe. So just covered in snow. It's a little rock here. Let's see. Can we put a single mountain on here? That's too big. Still a little too big for that one. Okay, these ones, I don't know if I like those ones. Okay, can't. Z, away those ones. There's an erase tool. There we go. Okay. Now trees and stuff. Gotta do trees and stuff here. And if I want it to be consistent with the rest of the map, I gotta zoom in here. Probably 100. Yep. Put it all the way to 0. Still seems too big. But that's the only cactus. Oh, there we go. There's some smaller cactuses. I erased the larger ones. That's right. Okay. Trees. There's this stuff. Oh, no. Symbols, scale. Okay, I think we can find more detailed stuff here. Okay, so maybe we could put like a crag Hi, Lexi. Opinions on color brightness and transparency, also known as CPT. I think they're very important. I think they're very important. Lexi. AC agrees with you as well. Of course he does. Of course he does. Oh. Maybe raise that up a bit. Kind of. Do make this a raised plateau. I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of that. It's kind of nice. I like that. Then this one. There we go. You want to get CPT therapy? This one? Okay, that works. That works. Now it's kind of a raised plateau. Go back to land. Paint. Take the orange here. Take the brush size. Pass these down. For some reason the rest of the rooms had a bunch of ropes, but the therapist was really nice. You're amazing, Lexi. You're great. I mean it. It might sound sarcastic, but I mean it. How are you, Lexi? How are you? Okay. Symbols. Put some more cactus around here. Some of these little grasses. Grab the erase tool. We don't need a cactus that large. Maybe that. No, we don't need that one or that one. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Ah, okay. You're inclined to believe we're not discussing the same thing. Fair, fair. If I'm thinking of the same thing as Lexi, I'm pretty sure Yoda's a big fan of it. Based on some memes I've seen. Okay. Size. Not that big. Oh shoot, that erases the thing too. You have a meme for me? What's the meme? What's the meme? What's the meme, Lexi? Oh, it's the wrong one. Hi, Philly. Thank you for the water. Mwah. How are you, Philly? Good to see you. I hope you've been well. There we go. Please go follow Frilly. Please, please, please. Frilly also is a bear VTuber. And Frilly is super, super duper cool. Would you laundry? Okay. Of course, dear. Of course. You're welcome. Okay, ad break might be starting any second now. Oh, I love that meme. I love that meme, Lexi. The Lego studs in the wallet is good. It's good. It's good. Uh, the Lego games. Where some of the I played them with my dad. The first three up to the complete collection or whatever it's called on GameCube. Because there's the first one was episodes 1 through 3, and then the next one was 4 through 6, and then they released the complete collection or whatever it's called. Played the crap out of the complete collection and the first one. I played it with my dad. This was before the screen would split when you got too far from each other. And I was like, I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 5 or 6. And I would be playing with my dad, and if you got too far from each other, this line would appear between the two of you, and then you couldn't move further away from that because of that line, because the GameCube, the screen, right? The screen couldn't split, so you had to stay on the screen together. So I'd be like, oh, what's this? And my dad would be like, come on, we gotta go over here through this door. This is the way we're supposed to go. You get pretty frustrated. Being sexy was a crime. I'd be a law-abiding citizen. Also, what is the heck is that burger? That is so sad. Tomatonator. I tried the Krabby Patty yesterday. It was pretty good. Our Wendy's didn't have any onions because the onion recall, because of the E. coli outbreak, which the CDC. My mom said the CDC traced it back to the onions on Big Macs at the specific McDonald's. It was the diced and sliced onion. So the onion company recalled all their diced and sliced onion. So the Wendy's down the street was just out of onion. So there wasn't onion on my Krabby Patty, which probably would have made it better, but that's fine. That's fine. That tree is it's too large. Excuse me, sorry. Goodness. Sorry about that. I need some more rocks. I need some rocks. Where's the rocks? Where do they keep the rocks? There they are. I believe it's this one. Yep. No, we want the transparent rock. This baby right here. Problem is they all look the same, but it's okay. Is that dead tree in the trees section? No. Where's that dead tree? Let's see. Tree. Toned down but really bloated today. I don't like being bloated. It's no fun. Where did this dead tree come from? It's not in the... oh, they're right here. Okay. They're scary trees. They're scary trees. This one? I don't know if I need that many though, but it's fine. You can always erase them later. Okay. Alright. That's all done. Okay. Okay. Oh, Lexi sent me some more. You kind of want the hat. This is a funny hat. That's so mean. That burger doesn't look like Steve Harvey. Come on. Them some good memes, Lexi. Them some good memes. Those are some good memes. Okay. I want to... let's see. How do I make a new article? Can I make a new article? Oh, right here. New article. Geography, item, organization. I use... you promise? I use World Anvil just to write all this stuff down. Condition. Is it a condition? Natural law. Or to be a natural, supernatural truths that divine and govern your world includes laws defying magic systems, weather phenomena, how gravity works, time travel, etc. Okay. Oh God. That could be good deity. From that 2 gambling loss. Oh. Yeah, that was 5k dust bunnies. That was 5k dust bunnies. Mutations, transformation, special conditions, both temporary and permanent. Would you guys say the elementalists, being an elementalist, being able to harness the elemental powers of Pokemon, would you guys say that's a condition or a natural law? Because I have to try and fit them into this setting. the elementalists harness the elemental powers of Pokemon. The same energy that gives Pokemon their powers. So I wouldn't say that elementalists are very common, especially dragon elementalists. Probably the most common elementalists are probably grass and fire and water, I'd imagine. Let's see, what does Game of Thrones say about elementalists again? What does it say about it? Next are the Elementalists, a collection of 18 classes that represent trainers with a supernatural tie to a Pokemon type. These settings fit perfectly for a high fantasy, high magical shenanigans game. In a more grounded or gritty game that might be out of place, or practitioners of them could be hunted and persecuted. As for a psychic and fighting, do not have classes listed here. It's because we consider Aura Guardian and the psychic classes to be in the core book to be their elementalists. Yeah, is Altaria a dragon type? I keep forgetting. I always forget Altaria is a dragon type. Am I spelling it right? Maybe not. Swab blue. Okay. Try on World Info right now. Good shout. You can use it for free, but you can only make 42 articles. I mean, 42 doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, yeah, Altaria is a dragon type. Swablu is normal flying. Using it as a writer? Yeah, it's good to organize thoughts, I think. It's good to put things in an organized place. Title. Lists. Content, sidebar content. Article created. Okay. Where floofs roam. Gotta create a world of fluff. Nice. What would the condition that elementalists have be called? I guess I'll just call it elementalism. I guess I'll just call it that for now. I can edit it later. Excuse me. Floofs are fairy type. I think floofs would be fairy type. Sure. Any type can be floofy. True. But then you have like Slurpuff. Or is Slurpuff the little puff ball or the ugly dog thing that looks like he's a pee-pee? I don't know. Hi, Haku. Mwah. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Good to see you. Hope you've been well. Sylveon's Foofy? A fuzzy Sylveon would be pretty cute. You were very good. And me? I've been well. I'm just been doing some world building for my Pokemon Tabletop United setting. Let's see if we go back to land, zoom in, 200. There we go. Just been doing some world building for that. Because I got into I started looking into Pokemon Tabletop United. Pokemon Tabletop United is a tabletop game like D&D, but it's Pokemon. About Pokemon. You have the plushie? Yeah. I have a lot of plushies. Sorry. Don't know why my voice sounds scratchy all of a sudden. Because I got into it a few years ago because I had this idea of like realistic Pokemon, or grounded Pokemon, but in like the 1820s, like cowboys and Wild West stuff. And I thought that sounded pretty darn cool. So I was like, okay, I either need to homebrew this whole thing or need to find an existing system. And Nintendo hasn't released an official, tabletop game for Pokemon. I mean, there was the little Pokemon First Adventure thingy where it's like for toddlers. So, yeah, Milk Tank Boys. I guess the proper term would be Taurus Boys. Taurus Boys. Taurus? 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 Milk Tank is cute though? Yeah. Milk Tank is pretty cute. How? Okay. It'd be so cute if they gave us more baby Pokemon, and they give us one that you could evolve into a Taurus or Milk Tank. I think that'd be cute. Yeah. Yippee! Get along, little Taurus. Right? And they or like flocks of Mareep that are shepherded by like daytime Lycanroc or dusk Lycanroc. That'd be so cool. Like I could see in my like that's so cool to me. That sounds so it's just so cool. Or like maybe Arcanine. Um Growlithe or an Arcanine. Except I guess maybe Arcanine might be too big. I feel too big to keep up with the Mareeps. I think Lycanroc works better. I think Lycanroc, Dayform and Duskform Lycanroc look more like sheepdogs to me than Arcanine does. Arcanine's more of like a guard dog that sits at the farm and protects the hens from Vulpix and Ninetales. Yeah, I think yeah, they'd protect. Is there a chicken Pokemon? I guess Torchic. Maybe Rufflet. Although, is there a good chicken analog? I guess Pidgeys. Oh, Stoutland. Yeah, Stoutland's a good one too. Yeah, That's a good point, Floof. But like, what's a good chicken analog? Because we have Mareep, Tauros, And we have a Lechonk now for the pig analog. Besides Spoinks. So what's the chicken? What would be the chicken analog? I guess Pidgeys? Combuskins and Torchics. That are Pidgeys. I like Pidgey fits that pretty well. P-Dove is too dove to be a chicken. Torchic, yeah. Combuskin and Torchic. There would be one Combuskin is like the rooster, and then the rest of them are Torchics. Do we not have a chicken Pokemon? I guess the closest we have is Torchic. If there's something else, I can't think of it. If there's something else. Excuse me. Keep that Vulpix away from my Torchic. I guess there's that fox from Sword and Shield now. Those ones would probably fit the bill better than Vulpix because they're like, they steal stuff and keep it in their tails. Nickit? Yeah, that's what it's called. I haven't played Sword or Shield. I've played Violet, but I've never finished it. But there's some pretty cool Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. I think the starters in Scarlet and Violet are way better than in Sword and Shield. If I play Sword and Shield, I'd probably pick Scorbunny. I like Scorbunny. Scorbunny is cute. And I don't really like the other two's third stages. Cinderace is tolerable to me. But Scorbunny also reminds me a lot of the 2000 Winter Olympic mascots because those happened in Utah, and the mascots, there was a fox, a bear, and a rabbit. And when I saw Score Bunny, I was like, "Oh, that's just the 2000 Olympic mascot, the rabbit." It's immediately what it reminded me of. Um, After looking it up at a later point, after seeing the trailer or whatever, I was like, "Oh, it doesn't really look like it," but they're both rabbits. Or is he a hare? I don't remember. Fennekin is very cute. Fennekin's very cute. I'm doing I have a playthrough of why that I kind of planned my team, kind of. When I got to a new route, I look up the route on Cerebi and see if there's a Pokemon on that route that I wanted to use. My team's like, it's not Cinderace, Delphox, Yanmega, Politoed, Flygon, the big spiky steel Pokemon, Ferrothorn, and I think the last one's Lucario. I think the last one's Lucario. Maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I wanted to use a Pokemon I hadn't really used before, and Politoed and Ferrothorn are really good. So is Yanmega. So I like Ferrothorn itself. Carried me through quite a few gyms. Ferrothorn is just a really good Pokemon in general. Sorry, I'm trying to type this article. A third of female Azuros will evolve into males. Is that what is? Is that how it works? Hi Julian, welcome back. Thank you for the stretch. I didn't know that. Unless they fixed it. Ah. Okay. That sounds like a Pokedex entry or something. Let's see, what do steel type do? We have a gender bending Pokemon? We do? Sorry about the burps. Did I save that? Conditions. Okay, I did. Okay. Cool. Alright, so maybe I kind of fit it in here, is what I came up with here. So, elementalism is a condition that manifests rarely in humans. Humans with elementalism can tap into the very energies that give Pokemon their powers. The most common types of elementalists are fire, grass, and water. Other types do manifest, but not nearly as often. Depending on the type, an elementalist may need to keep their powers hidden, or they may be hunted or ostracized from their communities. Others, typically dark types, become notorious for their power and dastardly deeds. Some use their powers to help further innovation and those around them. Some types manifest so rarely it's doubted they even ever existed. There are rumors of dragon masters that tame dragons with merely their voice, but are considered to be tall tales with no basis in reality. There we go. I did it. I did it. It's already been 2 hours. I might do this again on Wednesday. I might do some more of this on Wednesday. We kind of got the biomes mapped out here, though, so I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Let's see. Can I look at something here? Let's see. What structures do we have? Castles. Do we have anything that looks like ruins? Maybe this tower. Yeah, maybe that tower. That's a little big. That's a little big. Maybe we can slot that into mountain. I don't know if I like that. Oh, maybe I could do this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do that. It's barely noticeable, but still. Let's see, do we have anything else? Oh, there's some Halloweeny things here. Bats. Okay. Let's see if we go to land, paint this. Nope. Nope. Symbols. Back up. There's some in. Okay, there are. Gotcha. Zoom in more. Zoom in more. Okay, to take the erase. Boop. 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 Okay. There we go. Go here. Can use this. Sometimes there's a tree in front of it. Can I get rid of this tree? Okay, I can't. Cool. I'll just put that there. So it's actually visible. Okay. Should we try and name maybe this lake or this island? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Alright. So I did what I set out to. For the most part, I blocked out some biomes here. I might do something else with this area over here. I'm not sure. And yeah. Yeah. We're probably gonna call it night here in like 5 minutes or so. If you have any redeems that you want to get in and haven't been able to, or whatever, please get those in soon, and get those for you. I also wanted to work on the plot, or like the mythology. I had kind of want to do something with Cosmog maybe, and Solgaleo and Lunala and Necrozma, and Ultra Necrozma, just because Ultra Necrozma is pretty cool. But I need to do some research about Ultra Necrozma's lore and stuff. But yeah. Yeah. that's for the most part, I think I've satisfied myself. Sorry. With what I set out to do today. Um, let's see, where's the Alola Dex? Ah. Great, stupid sneeze. Oh, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Goodness. And do stuff with the Ultra Beasts, that kind of thing. Because the Pokemon, like the campaign hook that I wrote says, um, uh, Pokemon weren't around here in the beginning of time. They showed up abruptly in the fossil record, but they've been around as long as humans have been around. So, kind of want to do something with that. Maybe they came through a wormhole or something. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of lame. uh, I'll have to I'll have to sleep on it. Maybe I'll ask my brother for advice. My brother, they built the pyramids, right? But like you could do stuff with Cosmog, and maybe the bad guys have Necrozma, and they want to use Necrozma's power to combine with either whichever Cosmog evolves into. Um, I was thinking of maybe having like asteroid impacts happen or something like that, but in the craters, uh, on the northern side of the crater are sunstones, and on the southern half of the crater are moonstones, and like a line down the center, maybe there's a few dusk stones. This would be like, oh, like the asteroid broke up into these stones uh, for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. It's just the um, beginning of an idea. Like something about Cosmog and Sokoleo Nunala and Necrozma. That's some Cowboys versus Alien stuff? Maybe. Maybe. Oh, that movie is so goofy. That movie is so goofy. So funny. I haven't seen it. I think that came out when I was in elementary. So we played Cowboys versus Aliens in like during recess. I think. I think we did that a few times. I think I was in elementary anyway. They have like the wrist blasters. You can take it seriously. I don't think you're. I don't. I don't. Did they intend for people to take it seriously? I don't know. thought it was a serious movie. Well, it probably was, or intended to be. Yeah. Mm. So Poiple doesn't evolve in PTU. Poiple doesn't evolve until it learns Dragon Pulse, and it doesn't learn Dragon Pulse in its move set here. So I might change that. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I gotta think about the overarching plot. I'll have to think about it. We'll see what the characters, well, my players choose to do anyway. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to find out what their characters' motivations are and stuff. So, oh well, it's fine. Okay. Let me make sure this is saved. It's saved. Okay, that's the map so far right now. We fleshed out the biomes somewhat. I made this little island down here be something like cover mountains and stuff. There's some ruins hiding in the mountains over there. Anyway, that's that for now. All right. Okay. Let's find someone to raid. We're probably gonna raid Sucrose here. But I got Elementalism with kind of plan out. Yeah. Okay. We're probably gonna raid Sucrose. Who else is live though? It's Sunday. We usually raid Sucrose on Sundays. Yep, none of our usual ASMR friends are over right now. Okay, we're gonna go say hi to Sucrose. Give me a second to swap my headphones, and we'll get the right start here. Thank you guys for being here. A bit of a different ASMR stream. I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I was just the PTU Poker Tabletop Unite consumed my afternoon today, so I wanted to do some work on the map and stuff like that. So thank you guys for indulging me. I will see you guys tomorrow for the last Walking Dead stream, I believe. October is almost over. There's a few days left in October. I think Grim Fandango is the only game we have left to finish, and we're almost done with that, it feels like. So, fitting. So, I'm not sure what we're going to do this week. I guess I'll try and figure out a schedule on Tuesday or something. I don't know. Should have done that today, but I got distracted, so I'll do it another time. But give me 1 second, and I'll be right back, and we'll get the raid started. Okay. There we go. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you all tomorrow evening. I'm gonna go get a snack and probably mull over the plot somewhere. Some more that, yeah. Anyway. Good night, guys. I love you all very much. Please be nice to Sucrose. Thank you guys for indulging me. Bye, Crit. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Yep, don't forget to drink some water, brush your teeth, floss, do what you gotta do. Yeah, so we'll be finishing The Walking Dead, the first season or whatever, tomorrow. Pretty sure it's the last episode, so we'll see what happens. And we'll probably pick it up again next year, next October. I don't think it's a game I would just want to play till we finish it. I think I want to have breaks between it. I think I want to put breaks between the seasons because the game's pretty heavy. The game's pretty heavy. But yeah, I'll see you guys again tomorrow evening. Sorry, the ASMR stream wasn't very ASMR, but I hope you enjoyed. Had a nice relaxing time. Good night, guys. Bye. I love you. Bye.